Good morning, everyone. Or good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to day 44 of the tip of the day. Today, I actually wanted to talk about something that I read in Nature of Personal Reality. One of the things that I always keep emphasizing on is like Dr. Joe Dispenza says in a simple sentence that our personality is co-creating our personal reality. And I'm going to read a portion of Nature of Personal Reality. The reason about this, so the reason why I bring this up is on Wednesday when we were having our Facebook Live Q&A, I kept saying, even as a 3-year-old, I remember the emotions that I had that actually attracted, like if my mom was verbally abusive or physically abusive, I know that my hatred of her verbal abuse and physical abuse is what caused the other person, like the other person is showing us what is the compulsion or tendency within us, right? So they're trying to actually transform us. So when we are not awakened, when we don't use presence power to actually look at our conditioned patterns, look at all these thoughts and emotions that are in our subconscious, then the external world actually shows us what they are, right? So one of the observations that I made yesterday was go through, do your life review right now and see how you attracted each and every incident and know of how much pain and suffering you would have inflicted on the other by the way you acted in that moment in time. That requires a real meditative process. It requires a great deal of stillness. Even to start the process requires a very deep sense of presence, because if not, our ego, our victim identity will come in place and say, no, they did it. The ego is always looking for blame, right? And all this is to bring us to that unconditional love, that we love the mother who actually was verbally and physically abusive, right? Unconditionally. So here's what Seth says, and what I want you to focus on is this word called feeling tone, and kind of like look within yourself. What is the feeling tone of what you are experiencing inside? So here, I think it is in chapter 1, he says, this is page 12 in my edition. It says, everything that you experience has consciousness, and each consciousness is endowed with its own feeling tone. There is great cooperation involved in the formation of the earth as you think of it. And so the individual living structures of the planet rise up from the feeling tone within each atom and molecule. Your flesh springs about you in response to these inner chords of your being, and the trees, rocks, seas, and mountains spring up as the body of the earth from the deep inner chords within the atoms and molecules, which are also living. Because of the creative cooperation that exists, the miracle of physical materialization is performed so smoothly and automatically that consciously you're not aware of your part in it. Here is the most important thing. The feeling tone then is the motion and fiber, the timber, the portion of your energy devoted to your physical experience. Now it flows into what you are as a physical being and materializes you in the world of seasons, space, flesh, and time. Its source, however, is quite independent of the world that you know. Once you learn to get the feeling of your own inner tone, then you are aware of its power, strength, and durability, and you can, to some extent, ride with it into deeper realities of experience. The incredible emotional richness and variety and splendor of physical experience is the material reflection of this inner feeling tone. It pervades the events of your life. the overall inner direction, the quality of perception. It fills up and illuminates the individual aspects of your life and largely determines the pervasive subjective climate in which you dwell. It is the essence of yourself. Its sweeps are broad in range, however, it does not determine, for example, specific events. It paints the colors in the large landscape of your experience. It is a feeling of yourself inexhaustible. So in another paragraph, he says, this energy comes from the core of being in capital letters, from all that is with our usual capital letters, and represents the source of never-ending vitality. It is being in you. As such, all of the energy and power of being is focused and reflected through you in the direction of your three-dimensional existence. While your feeling tone is uniquely yours, still it is expressed in a certain fashion that is shared by all consciousnesses, focused in physical reality. So in those terms, you spring from the earth as all the other creatures and natural living structures. You are, while physical, a portion of nature, therefore not apart from it. So this is like incredible. So something that next time probably I'll try and read from the book Karma, something that it's very akin to what Sadhguru says about that karma consists of this thing called vasanas in Sanskrit. He said it's very akin to odor and smell, but not like odor and smell. But what Sadhguru says in that book, Karma, is it's like the flower with its the inner feeling tone that it gives. In one instance, it can be just pollinated by the bee, but in the second instant, the intent of that flower can be that it is placed in a temple, in that portion of the temple where nobody has access, no human has access to that portion, which is the feet of the gods, right? Like there's a temple in India called Tirupati. Nobody gets to go touch the feet of the god. So I will talk about that, but try and know that it is the intent within us, the energy, the vibrational energy that is creating. The reason why I'm insisting on this is once we realize that that is what is co-creating our personal reality, we have the power to change it, right? That's what he's saying, that it has the power and durability to change. So once we realize that it is all in our feeling tone, it's the feeling tone of our inner being that is going to create our reality. It's something like Sadhguru talks about how his grandmother, you know, in that generation, probably they cooked with a lot of presents. They gave presents to everything. Everything was sacred. Everything was done very, how the food was touched, how the vegetables were cut. Everything was treated very sacredly. So the feeling tone of that sacredness, right? We've lost it. So it's time to regain that feeling tone. So I would say first embrace that feeling tone and see how your world changes when you try to imbue loving kindness, the feeling tone of compassion, the feeling tone of this unconditional love, and see how it reflects back out to you from the external world. With that, have a fantastic weekend. Many blessings, much love. Eternally grateful for all this support. Take care. Thank you. Love y'all.